like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We in this thing, Sports Coma representing on a Saturday afternoon, baby. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all. Like I've been saying for some time now, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. I appreciate y'all for popping up in the stream. As you coming in, please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Shout out to the great Saint Tang Tang. So we up in this thing, man. Listen, we're going to do something. We're going to cover a few things, man. We're going to cover and react to the Mickey Loomis interview he did on Adam Shine the other day. He had some stuff to say about the team, about Laddie Daddy, which really wasn't groundbreaking, but it's still interesting to hear the take of the general manager from the Saints, VP, GM, Mickey Loomis. So we'll get into that reaction. It's about 15, 16 minutes. And then we'll cover a few other items. We do realize and know that Peyton Turner, day or so ago, Peyton Turner, shout out to my fam at the Saints News Network, Brother Bob, Brother Kyle T. Mosley, putting in the work. We talked about the fifth-year option declined by the Saints of defensive end Peyton Turner, who is a former first-round draft pick. Is this surprising? Not really. If we go over it and see a lot of the money in the fifth-year option, the Saints done did this before. They did this before, and then some guys, they let go. Some guys, they declined and then came up with an agreeable deal because they didn't like what the fifth-year option and how much the money was going to cost them. So it's a common thing that the Saints have, and they do. So we're going to cover this article as well, and then we're going to kind of go into the interview with Mickey Loomis. So y'all hit the like button, man. We up in this thing. Shout out to the family on Facebook. Shout out to my Instagram family. Shout out to the Twitter family, or X, whatever you want to call it. Y'all hit the retweet button if you listen through Twitter. So anyway, we up in this thing. Shout out to everybody. Elite, good to see your hemispheres in the building. Dudley, shout out to your Young City. Brother Tory. What's up, Brother Tory? How you doing, sir? Tuck, what's happening? Appreciate you. OG to the third degree. Shout out to you as well, Jackson, this thing. All right. He said, I can hear Mickey now. Yes. Oh, well, you know, you goddamn right. Listen, I'll tell you. We're going to do this, you know. Josh in his bag. What's up, Josh? Shout out to you. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you being in the stream as well. And Yen, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you as well. Much love to the fam. Appreciate you. We up in this thing, man. All right. So anyway, let's get it popping, man. Then we're going to cycle back to the Mickey Loomis interview done via Adam Shine, where he was dropping some game. The Peyton Turner fifth-year option situation declined by the Saints. Now, like I said, this is from Bob from Saints News Network. Saints officially declined the fifth-year option on defensive end Peyton Turner, And of course, all the NFL draft choices have 4-year contracts to begin start the career off. Teams have the option to extend the contract on the first round pick for the 5th season. First of all, first round picks in 2021's draft, the opportunity to pick up the 5th-year option begin on January the 8th. The deadline to pick up that was this afternoon, really was the other day. If the 5th-year option is not picked up, then that player becomes unrestricted free agent after the 4th season. Understandable. 5th-year option comes with significant financial increase. In the contracts last year, they have the option to do so in the first round. Choice has completed their 3rd contractable season. Turner's cap hit for the Saints will just be almost $4 million in 2024. Now, if the 5th-year option is picked up, that cap hit would have been almost 14 million, actually 13.88 to be precise. And a lot of people, no disrespect to Peyton Turner, but a lot of people don't see Peyton Turner worth almost $14 million. I mean, he hasn't done nearly as much as we wanted him to do in terms of his just being hurt a lot of the times. And it's you got to be very careful of labels when you put labels on people. And because labels are powerful, simply because people believe the labels and give them power. And what I mean by that is when the Saints selected Peyton Turner, they were considering him, they were comparing him rather to Marcus Davenport because of the size and the play styles and all this kind of old nonsense, instead of we trying to get somebody that reminds us of a Cam Jordan. And as just like when we put the label on him that he reminds us of Davenport, he is definitely reminding us of Davenport insofar as injuries upon injuries. Injuries have just stalled his development out. When he's on the field, he is a force. He's extremely athletic. He's even gotten fundamentally better with a lot of his moves and the tools that he used. He just has to stay on the field. And that's one of the biggest obstacles that Peyton Turner have, which is reminiscent of Davenport. Marcus Davenport, another first-round draft choice. So Peyton Turner, I'm not going to call him a bust yet, but it's getting close. And the Saints picking these defensive ends and they're not hitting. And then what really kind of hurts his development even further is the fact that they bring in Chase Young this year. And Chase Young will start, which will further suppress Peyton Turner, will push him further down on that ladder to get an opportunity to get on the field. Unless injuries impact the defensive line, that seems to be what he's relegated to, a first round backup. So Saints had to make a move. I mean, so they picked Peyton, and a lot of people was like, well, I don't know about all that. Peyton could have gotten the second, but Sean Payton said, no, we're going to take him. But anyway, Peyton Turner was the first choice for the Saints in 21. The defensive end out of the University of Houston. Turner was the 28th overall choice in the 21's draft. He was the 3rd edge rusher chosen that year and one of 6 defensive ends picked in the first round of the draft. 6'5", 270 plus, Turner has 9.5 sacks with over 20 tackles for a loss over his 2 collegiate years. A late riser up draft boards because of the strong postseason testing, he was expected to be a disruptive addition to the New Orleans Saints defensive line. It does not come as a surprise that Saints will not pick up Turner's option. To say that he hasn't exactly worked out according to plan is a massive understatement. Turner has flashed some intriguing potential. The problem is that he has simply not been on the field enough to pay off for the Saints' investment in him. So a variety of injuries have kept Turner from kept him sidelined for more than he's been on the field in 3 years. Now, over that span, Turner has appeared in 15 of a possible 51 games. 15 games out of 51 games. He's played a meager 339 defensive snaps in those 3 years, including only 2 games and 25 snaps in 2023. That's a massive disappointment. When you start really crunching the numbers on it, it just is glaring. It's almost like some Zion Williamson stuff prior to this year. You know what I mean? 15 games out of a possible 51 games. That is utterly ridiculous. And it won't get better. Like I said, Chase Young, once he's healthy, he will start. Then you have a 3-man rotation defensive end situation with Carl Granderson and Chase. And then you have Cam. And then Peyton Turner finally gets there as the 4th end. and then Isaiah Foskey, and that depends on where Passanio is in the mix at. I don't know whether they're going to slide him inside or keep him outside. Who knows? But that is it. It's not boding well for him unless injuries hit the line where he will get an opportunity to play. So it is definitely with Chase Young here is definitely pushing Peyton Turner into another disappointing year. So we'll see how that all works out, man. But once again, when we talk about the Saints not doing their homework on some people, when we drafted Peyton Turner, I thought it was a reach because I believe that we could have got him if we wanted him in the second round. And Sean Payton wanted them, but by many measurements, he was raw. He was raw. He had some positive things going on with the University of Houston, but most certainly a lot of people, include myself, seeing Peyton Turner as a second, perhaps a third rounder. So and also the same with Davenport. The Davenport pick was even worse than anything because the Saints had an opportunity to draft Lamar Jackson that year. They traded up to the spot, everybody and their mama, when we was doing the draft, thinking they're gonna grab Lamar Jackson, and they picked up some dude nobody never heard of out of the University of Texas at San Antonio. And ever since then, it's been one of the worst draft picks at recent memory. One of the worst. Didn't get anything. That guy is somewhere else right now. It's just totally terrible. But anyway, that's nothing really surprising about the declining of the option there because the money makes it sense. We talked about this last night on the show. The math ain't mathing. That's the math ain't mathing, fam. That's definitely the case when you talk about Peyton Turner. Now let's switch gears. All right, so we're gonna cover this interview. This Mickey Loomis, and this shout out to Brother Kyle. He says Mickey Loomis says New Orleans are not actively trying to trade the team's elite corner Lattimore. Now, let's address this. Why is there a conversation or rumors around the Saints trying to trade Marshawn Lattimore? Where did that all come from? Where the hell did that come from? Right? Why is that even a thing? And that's been going on since the season ended. Why? It's because there is a split in the team, a split down, and maybe not down the center. We'll figure it out as we go because people are coming in, people are leaving. But there were some players, impact players on the team that wasn't happy with the direction of the team. We talking from the top down. We talking from the head coach level. They was not happy with it, just like we weren't. Because they have eyes and they understand how things are supposed to work. They weren't happy. And Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen did everything they could to say, oh, a split doesn't exist. Everybody, that's a lie. It is a split because off-code behavior is being operated in the building and it's not being corrected. That's the problem. And I always speak about code and codification, especially in professional sports, because without a successful code, you're going to fail, man. The code is the plan. Everybody's supposed to stay on code, stay on plan. In many cases, you have a head coach that will backstab you. He's a weasel. So people in the building don't trust him. They don't like him, and rightfully so. If you're working with somebody at your job or you got a family member or a friend that got a friend that is sneaky and for whatever reason they won't hang out with this person, or whatever, y'all know you got sneaky, underhanded family members, you got sneaky, underhand coworkers, you got people that are weaselly, scumbag, underhanded, sneaky, just rotten, underhanded people that you really shouldn't have nothing to do with, right? Why? Because they'll tell you you can't confide in them. They'll tell you business. They operate with weird hidden agendas. You know the people. I don't have to go through the if you're a rotten ass bastard, I'm talking right at you. For the rest of our people, you know who they are. But the rotten people, I'm talking to the rotten people. You know who the hell you are. You know what you do and why you do what you do. But those people, we don't want them. We don't want no part of it. We don't want them around us because they're disingenuous. They can't be counted on, and they undermine you. They'll undermine your situation. They'll cause drama and problems. So thus, we don't want that type of scum element around us, right? That's what I consider them. But outside of that, what I'm saying is that's what happened in the Saints building with Dennis Allen. Then it's no bones about it that Dennis Allen is he's a weasel. He's a weasel. He's a weasel. Backstabbing Jameis, lying to him, saying he was supposed to play, and everybody know that a player is not supposed to lose their job due to injury. When Jameis Winston came back a couple of years ago, he wanted his job back. Instead of giving him his job back, he let Andy Dalton keep the job all the way into a 9 playoff year. He could have put Jameis in there to give the offense a jolt of reality, but instead he chose to run the team into the ground, and then at the end of the year, Mickey Loomis stood up and protected him. And see, these people so stupid. That's what we pinpoint and telling you, that you got a flawed room, you got problems in your house, but they walk around with the blinders on and repetitively fail, and then come out and apologize for failure and try to get you to buy in. But it's the same thing all the time, and people are tired of it. We tired of the blind stupidness when you're not supposed to be that blind and stupid. When you can hire people that teach you or show you what you're supposed to do. You're always supposed to have a new infusion of people coming through there anyway to keep everything fresh and alive. And I'm telling you, you got rats in your house. I'm telling you, you got roaches, and that's what Allen is. He's a weasel. No insult to all my weasels out there, but Dennis Allen, the actual weasel creature, but that's what he is. So we have a problem here, and that's what Lattimore represents. He represents the fact that he doesn't like that style of thinking. He doesn't like the fact that the dude threw the team under the bus, even though the players asked him to do this, and he said no, go ahead and take a knee, and they ran it anyway. They were wrong, but he was wrong too. Two wrongs don't make a right. He was wrong too by throwing all of them up under the bus and apologizing to Atlanta at the end of the season when all of that was supposed to be handled in-house. And there's other incidents that happened during the tenure of this guy, because he's so stupid he don't realize the type of behaviors he's doing. You can't do that and expect people who know what time it is to respect you and play for you, bro. You don't get it, man. So, I mean, at some point in time, he probably won't ever get it until he up out of here, because sooner or later, you're going to get thrown up out of here, because you have to learn that. You can't operate off code with backstabbing, lying, and throwing your team under the bus. And then you got a dumb general manager that sits up there and protect him and don't see anything wrong with what he did. That's another thing. So in the end, that's why players that come from winning situations, like if you come out of college, you play for a really good college coach, and you had a winning organization, and then you come here and then you see with Dennis Allen, the kind of party that he's running, man, people be like, man, what is this? What's going on here? Who is this guy? You know, so in the end, the truth to shine just like it's been shining. We ain't been wrong about none of this stuff. We continue to be right. So that's why there is a rumors circulating around Lattimore in trade situation. People are like, why is he trying to get traded? What did he do something wrong? He didn't do a damn thing wrong, but stepped up and played. Now, he got hurt last year on some freak stuff. Guy rolled up on him on a freak injury, but Lattimore was balling last year. And you don't trade corners or even think about trading the cornerback. He's not a disruption. He had the little situation that happened in, what was that, Cleveland, I think it was, when he went back up there and he was rolling with his homeboys, and that dumbass he had in the car had something that he wasn't supposed to have, but he got them out of the paint. He got them all gone. He learned, and you ain't heard nothing from that. So he has a little bumps and bruises, but overall, Lattimore's been a solid guy for the Saints, a stand-up guy for the black and gold. So it ain't got nothing to do with his contract. It got nothing to do with his play, because a lot of people was bitching and complaining when Laddie got his money. They were complaining about, don't pay him, Q, because he gonna lay down on us, but didn't say nothing about Ramczyk. And look at Ramczyk. Who gonna get more value on the contract? They were complaining about that. I remember that. Don't pay him, Q, he gonna lay down on us. But didn't say nothing about Ram when he got the bread. The poor Ram probably ain't gonna finish his career here. But the issue is, like I said, this is the issue and the problem when you're dealing with a team that don't even understand how to deal with people. A guy that don't even do any in-season evaluations and go in there and close the door, but then want to talk to the players at the end of the year, hold them up at the end of the year to tell them about them not letting them be comfortable. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, man. You people don't understand. Y'all really need to open up the doors and let people in there with fresh visions, man. And stop all that old stale dead ass stuff that y'all doing, because it won't equal into wins. You can't win with that type of thinking, man. You got to be real. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna just touch on that with that. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna play the Mickey Loomis interview that he did with Adam Shine the other day, and I'm gonna stop it at points and intervals. Y'all know how I do, and we're gonna talk about this here thing. So hold on here. All right, hold on. Let me just stop it right there. Yeah. So we're gonna get it going in a little bit, but before I even pop into that, man, let me give a shout out to all the fam. Thank y'all for being here. Shout out to the Who Dat Nation. Hope y'all having a beautiful, beautiful Saturday, man. It's really nice. A little warm outside, but outside of that, man, it's a pretty day, man. It has some overcasted, but we good. All right, what's up, CeeLo? Shout out to you, man. Good to see you. OG Jerry is in the building. Yin, shout out to you. Big ups. CeeLo says, Big Q, he says, tight end Dallin Holker is a great pick. Dallin is the okay, trying to get one. It says it's an incredible Hulk with the yak. Okay, the yak attack. Yeah, I was watching the man. Kid, we got something with that kid. Dylan Holker is going to be a solid player for us, man. We got something. You know it too. You can tell right away you got something. You can look at a player and say, man, this dude right here. Matter of fact, it was Friday, or no, earlier today. Matter of fact, it was earlier today. I was watching highlights of Dalen Hawker and him catching the ball, and he was, holding the ball out at the touchdown, and he was talking, and then he got long hair and all that stuff. It reminded me of Jeremy Shockey. That's what his style of play, not as physical, but more of an athletic type of. I watched him. I was like, man, this dude kind of reminds me of Jeremy Hockey a little bit. It was just he trying to remind me of him, because the way he was playing, and he talking and moving his head, and like, damn, that do remind me of him a little bit. And then I was watching stuff. Somebody sent me stuff from Spencer, the Rattler, the quarterback, and I was watching him, and people been just telling me the same thing. Man, Q, don't he remind you of Mahomes? I say he when he put his helmet and his uniform on, he looks like Mahomes. Now, I ain't talking about play style. I ain't putting that on nobody, man, because see, Mahomes boys have a baseball background where he can throw the ball at these weird angles that most quarterbacks can't do. And that pitcher background, throwing the ball and all that kind of stuff, that baseball background that he has, helps him. It helps him with directing passes a certain type of way. So when he put his uniform on, he favors Mahomes. Like he look like he could be a member of the man's family or something. Look like it's his brother, his little brother or something. Kind of looks like him a little bit, but not play style. Now I've watched the tape, and I do like his accuracy. I think he needs to bulk up his arm a little bit more, because some of his more successful passes, they kind of died on the back end. They start off looking good, and then they die. That's where you see receivers have to wait for the ball to get there. They kind of die on the back end. So, I mean, that's easily correctable, but I do like his attitude. I like his attitude, and we'll see what Kubiak can do with the kid, man. All right, so big ups to the fam. Good to see y'all. DeWright, how you doing, brother? DeWright's in this thing. Shout out to you. But yeah, Hulkers is going to be, you can see them. We seen Rashid Shaheed. We seen this Hulker kid is going to be special. You can always see the guys. Some of them you got to kind of peek a little longer at, but some of them dudes, when you watch them, you get like, man, this dude is going to fit perfectly here. You can see it. You can see it, and you can see it with Hulker. You can see it off the top. You don't have to study at it either. Hemisphere says Saunders saying that they didn't even get any scouting done for the Detroit game was concerning. Also, players wasn't even studying game tape throughout the year, and also alarming, showing up late. Well, the thing is, and of course, that don't surprise me, because like I said, a lot of what needs to happen with the Saints, they thinking they can just peruse past all this stuff that I'm saying. I'm not, and then what I'm saying, this is truth. This is not criticism. This is a critique. If you take the critique and put it into what you're doing, you can change it for success. It ain't costing you nothing to do it. You can pay somebody to come here and tell you the same shit in the college with a college spill on it, make it sound a little bit more fancy and put a chart and some statistics behind it. But I'm telling you the same thing. I'm telling you that you got to sink and ship. You got to fix it. You can't have a guy with no plan, with no motivation, with no, um, you know, no charisma, no leadership ability, a flawed philosophy, very low accountability, not enough attention to detail, things like that. When stuff start going wrong, not enough, and then plays favorites. That's another thing that's a killer. You can't do all that and then be a dumbass coach who plays favorites on top of it, who don't hold your quarterback accountable. When he fails, we lose as a team. When he wins, how about number 4? You can't do that. And the dude don't know that, man. So somebody got to whip that. And you just can't leave people like that alone, because they'll sink the ship and then you come out making excuses for it. It's just weird, man. It's real weird. And regardless of what you say, I'm not gonna light up on these people. I'm gonna just keep going at them full force, man. That's all I know how to do, man. Yeah, buddy, says DA and Loomis, or I ain't gonna say they trash, they just hard head. What's up, Terrence? He said he's still on Jameis. Bruh, I'm talking history, partner. We talking history. We talking about what happened in the past. We not talk. I mentioned Jameis. I'm talking about what happened with Dennis Allen and his off-code behaviors during the team. There are other things to talk about, but he wasn't the only thing. Jameis was a part of what happened with the team. He was under his direction during this period of time. You can't wipe away Jameis, man, contribution. People want to just erase the man away. Or he gone, forget him. Man, we talking history. We talking about where this team is, why they here, and where they are right now. And that man was a part of it. Rich says, how do you know the season will be bad? I ain't gonna say it's gonna be bad, but things it has to be a different approach. Like I asked the question to the family members, because I look at things a little differently. I asked the question, have you ever seen what they're doing done anywhere else that led to success? Simple question. And what you mean what they're doing? Did you ever see the method that they're using here, that the Saints are using, where you got a defensive coordinator as a head coach who basically calling plays for the defense, has very little influence on the offense. He'll pick a guy over there and then let him sink or swim. Don't go over there and self-correct. Don't go over there, and if players are not doing what they're supposed to do, don't tell them nothing. Just make excuses, crap like that. And then the way it's all set up right now, how, like I just said, with Dennis Allen operating, you do the offense, I do the defense, you handle the special teams. I'm gonna call the players for defense. Did we ever see this anywhere done? And did it ever lead to anything that was successful in terms of a championship, a Super Bowl, or anything? That's what I'm asking. Have we ever seen this before? Because even with the last regime of the Coach Payton, Sean Payton would allow the defense to be ran by the other guy, but Sean Payton was over there fussing and mean mugging, fussing and asking him, what you doing? All the time. So he will let you do it, but if you start screwing up, he get on you just like that. This other guy ain't gonna do that. He'll let them run it into the ground and then he'll spin excuses. This is the issue that has to change. Now, I'm not a fortune teller, but based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, the guy has to improve upon that. Now, he puts Clint over there. Clint has the potential. He got potential to probably turn the offense around. It's a lot to ask of him. You got to give them an identity, because we got to do that. You got to install a very complex system. You got to get the running attack going. You got to make sure we have the correct players to run said system. And then after that, we roll into it and see what we got. So, I mean, then you might have some issues, injury. There's always injuries throughout the season. You're very rarely going to go through the season without players getting hurt. But we got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. And that part of it, I have absolutely no idea. I think Kubiak's a serious dude, but he got a big job on his hands to do. And his job, his success, his job doing his job successfully, rather, will be the key to the Saints having wins and getting to the playoffs. It's all based on Kubiak and his system. A lot of pressures on him. So anyway, let's keep it going, man. Much love to the fan. Appreciate you. What's up, Dr. Key? Hadn't seen you in a while, my friend. How you doing? Jay Survivor's in this thing as well. Dana, shout out to you. Queen. Eternal, shout out to you. What's up, my brother? How you doing? My dog Randolph in the building. Said Darlin not making the team. Stop it. He's and acting like the next Jimmy Graham. All that is going to be the kid we bought it from the University of Pittsburgh. Okay, Randolph got his guy. Watch and see, Randolph. Watch and see. That's recorded right there, brother. Remember that. That's recorded, what you just said. And watch what Dalen Hawker do. He gonna be the third tight end on the board. Watch. He gonna be the third tight end. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you how this is gonna work, man. I'm telling you. You're gonna see. I got this record. I'm saying, hey, Randolph, remember that? All right, Sudo says Q. I've been a Saints fan for the first game. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. He says when Sullivan ran the first kickoff. Oh, yeah, this is a diehard day one, straight up to you. All right, Truth Hurts. What's popping with you, fam? Appreciate you as well. KD, what's happening, bro? Says I've been saying this, even though it's still the easiest, half the teams we play made the playoffs, other teams will be better. Indeed, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You got to be able to adjust with things going on. We talked about it in the NFC South roundtable. We talked about and heard from all of the other teams in the NFC South. We've seen that Tampa Bay had a solid draft. The free agency was decent. And a lot of these teams have improved some of their perceived weaknesses. Even when we look at their teams and we look and say, man, they need this, they need that, it is perceived that they have spent money and resources toward bridging the gaps or the holes on their teams. So you anticipate the NFC South being a lot more competitive, just like you see the NFC being more competitive. People are starting to make their moves and do what they're supposed to do. So Saints had an agreeable schedule last year, an agreeable situation. We didn't take advantage of it. And we'll see how we do this year with the cap, with them having the cap restrictions and limitations over this year and next year. The Saints have a job to do. He'll have a job to do. So, yeah, this is true, man. This is very true. All right. Shout out to you, man. All right. Who that said they got a birthday coming up? Shout out to you, bro. Coming up tomorrow. Is that? All right. Okay, Riley. Okay, what's up, Riley? Relly. Is that Relly? Relly, shout out to you. Says, Q, my B-day is tomorrow. All right. Happy who that birthday to you, my man, tomorrow. Shout out to you. Is it Relly? Relly, shout out to you, Relly. Much love. John says, anyone who doesn't pick this team to win, he's the South, when the South is delusional. Will they? Don't know, but I don't see how you can pick against them, pick against the Saints to win the South. I don't have the confidence, that good confidence you have, John, to be honest with you, with the Saints at this juncture of time. To me, it's still too early. I still got to see how fast they get it together. Now, like I said, I do like John Benton, offensive line coach. I do like Clint Kubiak. I do like Clint Kubiak. I think he's intelligent. I think, that's the family business, what he's got going on. I still have questions in terms of the Saints offensive line. I still have some questions around the team. Now, like I said, I still have to be able to kind of see what it all looks like, because I think accountability is a big part of it too. He talked about, one of in an older interview about how having high stress practices and all this kind of stuff. But it's a big culture change that has to happen on the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of pressure on them to succeed this year, where people are just not going to tolerate 4 straight years of 9 playoff football. That's just not going to go away. And a lot of teams have gotten better. So like I said, to me, I don't have the same confidence you have right now about the Saints. I need to see some more. I need to see some more stuff before I started saying this, because remember, I betted on the Saints and lost the bet, had to put on a goddamn Atlanta shirt. So you damn right, I'm pessimistic. You put that damn Atlanta shirt on, man. I'm not going to do it. All right, one more. John says Derek Carr couldn't do what last year against nothing but backups, going against the easiest schedule to ever exist in the NFL. The way it worked out for who that, which means he's really going to get exposed this year. I don't know if he gets exposed, but I anticipate Derek Carr is going to probably take as much time as he took last year to learn Sean Payton's system, or Pete Carmichael's interpretation of Sean Payton's system, when he was supposed to, it had the title of being a QB friendly system. It was supposed to be a system that most quarterbacks loved and could pick up relatively fast. It didn't happen last year. It took him all of last year to pick the system up toward the back end of the year. Now, this is some, and I've talked to people and have heard from interviews and stuff like that, and they said that how complicated the system that Kubiak's bringing in here. So we'll see how it all looks, man. But I think if the Saints, and I think Clint Kubiak has the right idea, he just needs to implement it. The identity, running the ball, I think that is key. Relying on a running game, relying on your running back room, Elvin, Jamal, Kendre, Taysom, relying on those guys, and getting that going, and then bringing Carr, and I call it play action Carr, and bringing Carr as play action Carr off the back of that strong running back room. I think that is the key until everybody start picking up everything else with Clint Kubiak's offense. You got to establish an identity, and you have to run the football. So that is probably the biggest thing. If we can do that well, then you're talking. Then you get Carr going and play actions, which force the safety to come down there and help in the run support. And you got one-on-ones, and all the thing you have to do is aim it in their direction. And Chris Olave going to go and get it. Rashid Shaheed going to go and get it. It just simplifies everything. Play action Carr is the guy I want to see. I don't want to see anybody say, go out there, Carr, go win me a game. I just don't want to see that. I don't think he would be able to do that, man. Like, go win us a game, Derek Carr. No, don't do that. Let's just run the ball. But we'll see, fam. We don't see. I'm like I said, I want to see our running attack get going first. So Kubiak, like I said, man, he got a lot going on. So anyway, let's get to it, man. Y'all hit the like button, man, as we get popping and going. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear this. This is Mickey Loomis talking about the Saints on the Adam Shine Show. Here we go.
He was there. I mean, I felt like that was a perfect no-brainer New Orleans Saints, Mickey Loomis kind of selection. Like, that was the perfect fit and pick and need. All of it rolled into one for your New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I would say that, look, the strength of this draft, one of the strengths was definitely offensive line and the tackle position, and it happened to be a need for us. And so that kind of meshed well together. Look, you're always, when you're picking 14, you're always nervous that they all go before you pick. So it was good to see all the quarterbacks go. And look, they all deserve to go too in the top 12 picks, but that helped us in terms of pushing some guys down to pick 14.
When you see Penix go 8 to Atlanta, with that as a backdrop, what was your reaction in the Saints war room?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good pick. Michael Penix is going to be a really, really good football player. And look, their GM, Terry Fontenot, worked here with me for 17 years. And so he's one of the smartest guys I've ever worked with. He's one of the best guys I've ever worked with. He's a great talent evaluator. And I know, look, they've gotten some criticism because that's a pick for the future. But listen, that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to think about what's best for the organization going forward. And Michael Penix is a really, really good talent. And I don't blame him at all for taking him.
How high was Fuaga on your draft board? We mentioned these offensive tackles. You felt like there were about, 5 that are quote unquote franchise tackles. He certainly was one of them. Is this someone that you had targeted throughout the process? And Mickey, what could he bring to the table right away, instantly, for your New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, well, look, I think first of all, he's just a really good player. He's well-rounded. He's good in the run game, and he's a good pass protector. And he's played at a high level against a lot of good competition. Look, he's going to be competing to start right away. And so, the other thing that he's got is, man, he's got great makeup. I mean, he's going to end up not initially as a rookie, but eventually he'll be one of the leaders of our team. We've got a great room in that offensive line. And I always feel like, man, the character of your team begins with, the character of the offensive line. And we've got a really good group there, and he's going to fit in nicely.
So Kool-Aid McKinstry,
let me stop it right there for a second. The offensive line, man, is attitude-wise, not from a talent standpoint. The only thing I can say about watching, just in particular, the Saints offensive line last year, And you guys chime in. Great Saint Think Tank. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. The offensive line last year, McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Andrews Pete, Trevor Penning, whoever, Cam Irvin when he played, Landon Young, Ramczyk, all these guys. The problem I had with the Saints offensive line last year, outside of it being offensive line coach Doug Marrone was just garbage, was the fact that the mentality of the line wasn't present in majority of the games. If it was, we could have got a couple of games extra. A lot of times, like we talk about this all the time, right, fam? It takes an attitude to run the ball. It takes attitude. The Saints offensive line didn't have that attitude all the time. Like you can watch them just like some of these games, they were just going through the motion. Remember games when Alvin Kamara would get the ball and Kamara would get handed off to the left or right and he'll run into the hole and then he'll pick up a tough 2 yards, get up and just drop the ball and just walk back to the other. Y'all remember that? It was just everything running was difficult for the Saints early on, just trying to stick to it consistently, trying to establish the run. Even when it was outside, when we was running to the outside, you know, it wasn't like what it was supposed to. Like you have Andrews Pete will pull to the left, or you have James Hurst will pull out to the left to try to block guys. He'll get there late. The linebacker will get there late. And I mean, the linebacker would get early. Hurst would actually get there late. The lineman would get there. The linebacker would get where he was supposed to be. And these guys would go out there. They would miss blocks. And Alvin Kamara, a promising play for Kamara that would have ended up probably like 7-8 yards, would be like a 2-yard or 3-yard pickup. And I would look at that because that really infuriated me. Because we did the Patreon shows when we looked at the all 22. So we looked at the all 22, and the all 22, you can't hide on that. It shows everything. The all 22 shows it all. And when you watch the film, even though I was watching the game, I was like, man, that dude whiffed on that block. Why that guy ain't pull out there and do that? Why he ain't take that guy head off? They were just going through the motions. So my only thing moving forward is with John Benton coming in here. I know Benton, we have to toughen up that meanness. We have to toughen up that mentality if we're going to run the ball effectively, and it's going to be the identity or the staple, according to what Clint Kubiak is telling us. We got to toughen up, man. Now I watched Ali Udo do his thing in Minnesota, and he was all right at the guard position. Fuaga, to me, plays with that type of mentality. Penning did when he came here. Remember when Penning stepped through the door, he was fighting the veterans, pushing when they blowing the whistles. He's still pushing them out and pancaking them. Remember all that? That Penning just disappeared. I like that Penning because that was a confident, tough Penning. The guy we got now is not the same dude we had when he was a rookie. Some kind of way they done domesticated him. Domesticated the man. We need to bring that back. We need that edge. We need that mental toughness that the Saints, that Penning played with. And of course, we need to play under control with it, but we need that type of thinking if we're going to dominate with the running attack. McCoy, much love to brother McCoy. He way too chill, way too chill. That we need, the most I seen him get buck is that time where he's about to body slam Derek Carr and James Hurst had to get in front of him. Boy, if James Hurst ain't get in front of him, Carr probably would have been in the hearse. But that's the most I seen McCoy get buck all last season is when he was trying to get at Carr and Hurst had to block him. I don't know what Carr told him, but McCoy wanted a handful of them. He's going to make him touch every item on the Saints sideline. Looked like to me. But that's just one of my things, man, I'm thinking about. So let's keep going. That mentality has to change.
I thought was going to go in the first round. I'm curious, at what point did you start looking at the board? Talents, area of need, end of first round, you trade up a few spots in round 2 to secure them. At what moment do you start burning those phones and thinking, you know what? This is a great potential draft pick for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I would say when the night ended, when night one ended, and he's still on the board, then we're talking about, hey, how do we get up? And you start making those calls, and look, it's a cost benefit analysis, and so you start making calls, and what your price is, and look, he kept being available as the picks went on in that second round, and look, we were able to make a move and move up a few spots, and really excited to get Kool-Aid. Obviously, we had a high grade on him. I think a lot of teams did, and there was a surprise that he lasted as long as he did. And the only downside is now I've got to call. I, as a grown man, got to call another grown man Kool-Aid.
You got to call another grown man Kool-Aid. Like, you got to call another grown man Mickey. Can't be more difficult than calling an older growner man Mickey. I mean, it can't be more tougher than that, right? It can't be, right? Can't be, right?
So, did you ask him about the name? I mean, that's a great line. I mean, you could start, going through the old commercials, do the ooh yeah for the Kool-Aid man. I mean, did you ask him about the origin of all that? I mean, because you're right. Now you're going to start saying Kool-Aid this, Kool-Aid that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked with him before about his given name and where Kool-Aid came from. And look, it's great when you're a teammate, right? And you're calling somebody by their name.
I guarantee Mickey Loomis probably never drunk some Kool-Aid. How elite does he act? What do y'all think? You think Mickey Loomis?
Oh, I know. I ain't have Kool-Aid. I had Sunrise, so I don't know about that Kool-Aid stuff.
How many of y'all think Mickey Loomis ever drunk some Kool-Aid, fam? Y'all put it in the chat. What y'all think? I don't think Mickey Loomis ever had any Kool-Aid. I'm
nickname. Look, we've all been there and done that.
That's right.
But look,
That's
I'm a 67-year-old man. I'm going to become one of our players' Kool-Aid. It's just, it's just kind of a funny little, item. But we're excited to have him. Excited about the way he, conducts himself, and his football instincts are off the chart. So we're really excited to get him. And look, I would say that's not a position of need for us, but corner is a valuable, it's one of the valuable positions on your team. And if you can stack guys up at that position, then you're going to be better off for it.
So what does this mean here when it comes?
That's pretty good right there, L-Dub. L-Dub said he drunk the Kool-Aid and when he made DA the coach. Oh yeah, the Sean Payton Kool-Aid. So you're right on that. All right, big ups. Brother Hakeem said this year, hopefully, with a coaching change up front, we could get something out of Penning and sell DeVary. He said they were relatively high draft picks. He said bite the bullet and bring Pete back on a 1-year deal. All right, thank you, Brother Hakeem. Shout out to you. All right, big ups. It's true, man. It's crazy how that all goes. Dana says he drank Sunny D. All right, I guarantee you don't drink no damn Kool-Aid. Brother Hakeem said we could have a solid group up front. Agree, BQ. Success depends on. He said this blood running game to open up the play action with DC is solid. He had the success in Las Vegas with that. Yeah, that's what. And that's you're right, 100%, 1,000%. That's where we need to go, because the truth is, man, I don't see Derek Carr as a savior. See, the Raiders, and I had some talk. We discussed this on a prior show with a couple of the Raider diehards, and they have a lot of love for Derek Carr. And Derek Carr did a lot of stuff for the Raiders. I mean, insofar as like taking on, he was there for 10 years or something, whatever it was. And he took down 9 years, whatever. And he took down a lot of the passing records, the touchdown records, passing records, all kind of stuff. He's like high in their record books out there. So he's a bit of a kind of a legend to the Raider Nation, like Drew. I don't know if it's like Drew, because Drew did a little bit more, but it's similar insofar as the respect aspect of it that they have for Derek Carr, that we have for Drew Brees. But Derek Carr, I don't see him, and I know a lot of the great Saint think tank and Who Dat Nation doesn't see Derek Carr as a savior type. He's making a lot of money, $150 million. That's because Dennis Allen overvaluing Derek Carr. Now, listen, I'm not saying that Carr can't have success, but I'm thinking when you have a new system that's complicated, you gotta lean on your strongest room. That's the running game. The Saints, there is no other room on the offensive side of the ball that's stronger than the running room. And like I said, Elvin, Jamal, Kendre, and Taysom, you might as well throw him in there. That's the strongest room that you have, and you're going to have to rely on that. The problem is that one of the weaker rooms that you have will be called upon to do their job. So the strongest room, the most thorough room, can do their job, and that's the offensive line. And we have a lot of question marks at the offensive line. I know Ramczyk more than likely is not going to be good to go for the season. So that hurts. So you have two relatively new offensive linemen. One's going to be Penning. The other one's is going to be Fuaga. You got to find out left guard where Ali Udo, I think probably Ali Udo will play the left guard position. And then you have McCoy, and then you have Cesar Ruiz there. But that's a lot of young people, out of the 5 positions of the offensive line. You got 3 new people, and both of them are tackles. 2 of the 3 are tackles. So that could be problematic for a quarterback. So, in terms of him feeling comfortable back there. So I would be really, pushing or advocating for the Saints to get the best 5 that they have offensive line wise, so we can get that running the ball thing going. And then everybody start learning as we go, because everybody has to learn. This is totally new. Yes, I don't think this hasn't happened to the Saints in a very long time. We have an offensive line change here, offensive philosophy change rather, and it's a lot of pressures. Like, the guy don't have 3 years to install it. You know what I'm saying? They bring this guy in here, and it's the 4th year not making the playoffs. It's Dennis Allen's 3rd year. And people want to see it change. The Saints are not a young team where they got 4 or 5 years and we got this window. No, the Saints are vastly burning through their window. DeMario Davis got a couple of years left on his contract. Cam Jordan is almost out of here. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be out of here. And the Saints are relying on older veteran players to school the young guys, so it kind of evens out the transition, so we don't go all the way down. We kind of just dip a little bit, then keep on going and maybe climb. But in order for that to happen, certain aspects of the team really have to step their game up. And that's a lot of pressure on Clint Kubiak to get that other side of the ball going. Because if you don't have success over there, everybody going to be fired. That's a lot to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? That's really something. What's up, Gundam? Shout out to your fam. Let's get back to it.
To Marshawn Lattimore, if anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Marshawn's been a really good player for us for a good period of time. He's one of the leaders of our team, and look, it's just like I said, we can use as many corners as we can get, and we've got a good group, a really good group, and they're going to help each other, and they're going to help our team win.
So elaborate on that if you can for us, Mickey, because there was so much conversation, and you're right. Marshawn's one of your guys, part of a fabled and famous draft class, right? I mean, there was so much conversation about trading Kim, and there still is conversation about it. Is he on the market? Is he going to be a Saint this year? I know what you think of him. I know what you think of the cornerback position. I know what Dennis Allen thinks of the cornerback position. Separate fact from fiction for us on Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, I would. And look, I would say this about any player is that, look, when a guy's a really good player for your team, they're not on the market per se. But there are times when you get a call and somebody makes a proposal and it might make sense for you. That's true for any player on our team. You
and ain't for Carr. They ain't trading Carr.
If you get an offer you can't refuse, you at least have to look at it. And so that's what I would say. I'm not actively trying to trade Marshawn. Marshawn's such a good player. He's an elite corner. He's had some injuries the last couple seasons that have kept him off the field, and we've got to get over that. It's not his fault. It's just circumstances. And so, that's just where we're at.
Mickey Loomis, of course, with Adam Shine on Sports, man.
What's interesting about that whole situation, and it kind of moves away from the Marshawn Lattimore thing, the trade. situation dealing with Marshawn. And then, like I said, I talked about this early in the show about why that's even the thing. I mean, his contract is not bad like that. It's like, well, he don't play enough games and all that. No, it's not that at all. And Lattimore's been a good player for the Saints for a while. And he's a shutdown cornerback. When he's healthy, it's nothing going over there. The Saints have a solid secondary, to be honest with you, a very solid secondary with the guys we have. I know Alontae Taylor struggled last year, but it was Alontae's sophomore year. Most of the players go through sophomore slumps. Paulson Adebo did it the year before that. So they all go through a sophomore slumpish year. That's why I always am patient with players coming out of that second year, that sophomore year. And then you see them escalate in the third year because they go through it. You've seen Paulson Adebo was our best cornerback last year after that horrible sophomore year. I anticipate Alontae Taylor doing the same damn thing. So in essence, the Lattimore thing, like, why is he even on the trade block? Because, man, somebody might have called the Saints and asked, he might have took a call or whatever and all this kind of stuff. And he's saying, you got to pay attention to these political types that like to talk, that his term was, we're not actively trying to trade Lattimore, not actively. So non-actively, are you looking to trade him? See what I'm saying? See, it's easy to just squash all this out by saying we're not traded. Actively, non-actively, or otherwise, whatever. We're not actively trying to trade him. So non-actively, you non-actively trying to trade him? It's just double speak, man. It's just a way to just BS, man. Lattimore shouldn't go anywhere. I was saying that the whole damn time. Only reason why it's a problem because of Dennis Allen and how Dennis Allen is operating as a coach. He's off code. And Lattimore is right. And a lot of the Saints players that have an issue with Dennis Allen is because of his off-code behaviors, throwing his team under the bus, so on and so forth. I ain't going to keep going through it, but y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what you got. And a lot of the players that feel like you feel, they're human beings too. They know what time it is. They get it up close and personal. You know, they get to see him sashaying around there every damn day. Yeah, they already know, man. They're like, man, my goodness, my God, what's going on here? Yeah, man, let me tell you something. All right, Gundam says, we'll get right back to it, fam. Can Rattler challenge Carr in a later season for QB number one? He knows the scheme. Something drastically has to happen for that to happen. Like a lot of people saying Q, I think it'll be the quarterback pick. A lot of people saying Carr, Hayner, and Rattler. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I think the Saints are going to try to keep a veteran backup. I think it'll be Carr, Peterman, and one of those two young guys. And Jake Hayner could be in trouble because the guy that picked Jake Hayner is not here anymore. The guy that drafted him for the system was Pete Carmichael. That was his guy, and we got a new offensive coordinator that got his guy. So usually when you see that happening, the other guy is usually the odd man out. So Spencer Rattler has a lot of tools that Jake Hayner doesn't have, but Jake Hayner has to play like a man on fire. Now, it is definitely the opportunity for Hayner to supplant or move past Peterman because, like I said, all these systems, everybody got to learn the system. Whoever learns the system fast might have a chance. So there's always a chance. But when you look at why Peterman is here because of his connection to Derek Carr and the fact that, and I know that Hayner, Fresno State, all that kind of stuff, but Peterman was a backup with Carr when he was with the Raiders. I'm like, why is this guy here? No disrespect to Nate Peterman, man. But I'm just saying why they had a lot of other guys with better resumes that were available, that could have been a backup for you. Why this character? Then you look at it, find out it's the connections. It's the same old stuff, man. It's always ties and lines to certain players that makes sense. That, it's a common theme. If you got a Raider background, good chance you could probably end up with the Saints because that's what Dennis Allen does. He's going back to his old coaching thinking of following players that he used to have a connection with or people he knew. So, but we'll see how it all twists and turns, bro. But Spencer Rattler, I don't know. I don't. That'll be a lot to ask for. I know that he might have some intel on the system, but $150 million speaks a lot louder than his system and a fifth round, middle of the pack, middle of the fifth round quarterback and Spencer Rattler. $150 million is a lot of bread, bro. For them to be like, we're going to push him off this night and this Spencer time. He really have to test some stuff. He got to be on some balling game, and your boy Carr got to be super struggling for them to even. That'll be a lot. That'll be a lot, man. I don't know if I can kind of jump on that. All right, but thank you, bro. Appreciate that. All right. So yeah, you heard him dancing around, huh? We're not actively, so non-actively, inactively. So you're not actively trying, but non-actively you try. It's just a bunch of BS, man. So that's why I just don't. I don't like, just say whether you do or you don't, bro. If you're trying to get the man out of here, just do it, man. If that's the case. Well, it's just these how these types, these political types talk. They talk out of their forked tongue, out both sides of their mouth at the same time. There's nothing honorable about that. All right. Is he right? What you mean? Is he right, bro? What is who right? I don't what you mean, is he right? I think I had another question. I'm sorry if I missed y'all question. Oh, 504 Coast says Q, would they, you think they bring Pete back? I don't think they bring Pete back. I know Pete's still out there. I think the Saints got like $8 million in cash, and that means they still ain't signed the draft picks yet. It depends. If Andrews Pete, he'll play the left tackle position for him. They got the two ends. I don't know, bro. I guess money would be the thing that you would think about if Andrews Pete, because he's trying to get paid. So he's willing to be patient or whatnot. He didn't leave on bad terms. I guess he didn't leave on too bad of terms. But I don't know. I would just want to move it forward. You know what I'm saying? We've seen what Andrews Pete could do. Let's move it forward. Let's find out what the rest of these guys can do. You know what I'm saying? Let's find out what Penny. We put a first round draft pick on Penny. We got to get value for that pick. We got Fuaga with the first round pick. We got to get value for that pick. We got Nick Selderberry was a fourth round pick. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we can do with that. Landon Young is still there. He was a fourth or fifth round pick several years ago. What could these guys that we drafted, could we get value from these guys? What could we do with these guys? Can we get them to step their shit up and start playing? You know what I'm saying? What do we have in these guys before we start bringing old players back? You get what I'm saying? Now, if injuries occur, that's different. But what do we have there? What do we have? And I think that's something that we need to figure out. And that's up to John Benton. Benton has to figure that out. That's what he got to call out. Let's figure that out. Like we keep drafting all these people, man, and most of these people, we don't know what they can do. We got to stop and figure out what this dude here could do, what this guy here can do before we start bringing in a lot of other people. That's just my rationale on it. All right. So, Derek says, no 150 million ain't nothing asking. He says, no 150 mil ain't nothing. Ask Atlanta 180. Yeah, but that's a bad example, bro, because it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta. They got to overspend. I told Lo them that the other show. I was like, man, not all of them, but a lot of former Saints players that spent years in a black and gold building, they'll go to Atlanta and take their money. They'll go take their money. And a lot of people know that's funny style when you do that. Even Bobby Hebert talks about that. When he talked about him going on, he just wanted to beat the Saints because he was mad because they didn't pay him the contract. It's the same thing with Martin Anderson. The Saints wouldn't pay them guys, and they went to the their rival to get back at them. That's a common thing, man. That's a common thing that most players did, and they're thinking that they was going there because they seen them as a contender. It was just taking your money, baby. Taking your money. But anyway, here we go.
Doug Sports Radio. Spencer Rattler, fascinating selection at the quarterback position. This was a top prospect in high school, top prospect in college, a couple of different colleges, obviously put up monster numbers. The Ian Rappaport NFL Network report about, going back to the documentary, the QB1 on Netflix, and, issues that, NFL teams couldn't get past going back to the high school days. Now, obviously, you have your starting quarterback in Derek Carr. There were some people who thought, Rattler obviously has potential to be in the NFL for a long time, eventually, perhaps down the road, be a starting quarterback. What did you see, Mickey, when you studied the film? What do you see from Spencer? What did you learn about Spencer when you kind of got under the hood a little bit in terms of his character and Spencer as a person?
Yeah, look, first of all, we had Spencer come in for a 30 visit. had a great visit with him. Really impressed with his maturity and impressed how he was really open about, the things that he has done. And look, he hasn't done anything wrong. It just, what were the circumstances behind, the transfer? What were the circumstances? What'd you learn from, going to another school, going through the portal and all those things? And man, he was just really impressive as a person, really open about the things that he might do a little differently. But at the end of the day, look, he's a really talented passer. I mean, he completed 71% of his passes this last year. And the other thing is, when he was a sophomore at Oklahoma, he completed 75% of his passes. He had a 155 rating, and that led to a transfer, which is hard to believe. And he's just a talented player. He was talented coming out of high school. And look, when you're young and you get all that attention, I don't know that there's too many of us that can handle that or would handle that perfectly. And yet he's been able to handle the attention, been able to handle the scrutiny. I'm sure he's disappointed in not being picked until the 5th round, but we're elated. We're elated that, in the 5th round, we get a guy with this resume, with this caliber of talent, and we weren't looking for a quarterback. So, we're excited to have him in here and excited to, have his career start with the Saints.
I love that breakdown. Last year was such an interesting year for
and like I said, the Spencer Rattler thing is a lot of people interested in the year when Mickey said they wasn't looking for a quarterback. I wasn't anticipating them looking at a quarterback myself, but I guess Clint Kubiak said, man, Spencer Rattler is the guy for us. And like I said, watching his tape, because I watched a lot of, not just highlights, I actually watched Spencer Rattler play. And like I said, to me, from what I remember looking, this is before, bringing him over to the Saints and saying, hey, man, you're a black and gold guy now. Prior to that, when he was at South Carolina and other games, I looked at Spencer Rattler, and of course, South Carolina was dealing with it. They just had a whole bunch of stuff going wrong for them. Yeah, a lot of injuries, stuff like that. But to me, watching them play, I mean, he had he's solid, but not, my term would be solid, but not spectacular. That's what I see when I see Spencer Rattler. Solid, but nothing spectacular. You know what I'm saying? He got a good degree of accuracy, but his balls seem to die on the back end of some of his promising throws. Not all of them, but some of them that he throws into, and some of these throws that he was making didn't have pressure in his face. Like the ball, I can understand the ball dying before the receiver had to wait for the ball before they keep running. You know what I'm saying? They have to slow it down to get the ball. And I've seen a few plays where he throw ahead of the guy caught it. But some of the plays where he would step into it and deliver the ball, it would the receiver would have to slow down and wait for the ball to get there. And then there were throws where he would put it right where it's supposed to be, where nobody could get it except for the wide receiver. So it's, and listen, that could be improved because we can strengthen his arm. We can get him stronger with the arm where he could be able to step into it and deliver the ball. We can get him there. The coaches can get him there. The strength coaches and all this stuff, they can get that straight. But outside, like I say, the best thing I like about Spencer Rattler is he got his football IQ. Very intelligent football player. Knows where everything is. And like I said, it would probably be really interesting to see him in a system where he has the line, has the running attack, has the wide receivers ready, and how he can excel in a system like that, where everybody around him is on code, everybody looking good, he has time to throw, he has the running attack. That can be something special to see him develop there. But the great thing about it is we don't need to see Spencer Rattler right away. I think we get the running game going, get play action card going with that, and we should be all right. With that being said, but he is solid to me, but nothing spectacular. And like I said, watching his tape when he was with Oklahoma, he played well there. He played well with all that talent, and then you can see the difference in teams because South Carolina wasn't a very good football team. But boy, did he kind of put Xavier Legette on the map. He put Xavier Legette on the map, though, man, with a lot of those throws. But anyway, yeah, I think he'll be good, man, for the Saints. And like I said, in Kubiak's offense, And we was doing this during the show, and I was like, man, does Kubiak see a little Brock Purdy and Spencer Rattler? At first, I was saying, man, hold on, that can't be the case because I think Brock Purdy like 6'3". I looked it up now, he's 6'1". I don't know where I got 6'3" from, but I was thinking, I'm like, what, for whatever reason, I thought Purdy was 6'3", and he's not. He's 6'1", and so is Spencer. So I was like, it's something. I'm telling you, Clint sees something in Rattler that he sees in Brock Purdy, which is not a bad comparison. Not saying he's going to be that, but just knowing where the ball is, making the throws, being on time, mastering the offense, and understanding what you got to do, that does give you the confidence, and it does put you in a certain position. But like I said, man, we got time to look at Spencer. So we'll see what time it is with that moving forward, man. That'll be fun to watch, man. For real.
The Saints, and I had such high hopes. You know, we talked last offseason. I know you had high hopes. And it was kind of weird early on, some of the defeats, right? And, you know, you could go back to Derek's injury and the Green Bay game. It was a weird vibe early on with the New Orleans Saints. Mickey, it's your job to diagnose it, right? I mean, that literally is part of your job description. What went wrong? And because I love the talent, and I feel like you're running it back in a lot of ways in a good way because it's all still there. What went wrong when you look under the hood, and why, if I'm a Saints fan listening, do I believe with this group it'll get fixed and the Saints will be marching into the postseason in 2024?
All right. Now that was perfect. I just want to brace y'all, baby. Brace y'all for the answer. Y'all heard what Adam Shine said, right? He basically asking Loomis, why should we trust what the Saints are going to do coming up into this year after all the foolishness that they've been through over the last year? Here's Loomis's response.
Yeah, look, good question. And I don't know that I have exactly all the answers. If I did, we would have fixed them last year, right? But look, we had a new quarterback. You know, getting acclimated to teammates, that's always an issue. You know, we had a couple of key injuries. Listen, Mike Thomas was hurt. He started out pretty well, and he got hurt. And
they always default to injuries like a robot.
Was unavailable to us. Marshawn Lattimore, who we just talked about, you know, one of our best defensive players, one of the best defensive players in our league, gets hurt and misses a number of games. And so those, you know, little things prevent you from making that one or two plays that make a difference in the game. And look, we're a half game, one game away from being in the playoffs, and winning the division. And look, we can point to games and say, well, this call went wrong against us, or this play, or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, we're one game away, and we can point to a lot of different things that make that difference. I think that we have the capability. I think that we have the talent to win a division and to make a run in the playoffs. And so, you know, we'll see where that is. We've got to be committed. I think, and when I say committed, I mean, you know, from top to bottom, from players, coaches, organization. And I think we are. I think we've kind of reset that expectation and that standard, and now we have to live up to it.
All right, hold on. There's so much there. Number one, let's just start with the injury default mechanism that they always kick into. That's why we have depth charts. That's why we have depth on the team. We got wide receivers behind there that step in if they need to. Mike Thomas was hurt for the Saints over a period of years. So we did get a healthy Mike Thomas early on, but we weren't. Think about it. Remember the games, like some of those games, they weren't throwing at Mike Thomas all the time. You know, he was out there doing his thing, blocking, and then he kind of faults Carr for why he got hurt, right? He threw that ball low. He had to go down and get it. The guy hit him, and that's when he got hit. He got hurt, and he never came back after that. But the crazy part about it is, as a grand scheme, grand overall view over the last several years, Mike Thomas was hurt for a long time. And the Saints, that's why we developed guys like Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and others. So that's injuries is a part of the game. That's why we have to field the team the best way we can. You talk about the calls and all this other stuff and being accountable from the top to the bottom. Number one, he's not accountable. Mickey Loomis is not an accountable general manager. Mickey Loomis runs away from stuff. He doesn't even evaluate during the season. I keep saying this, people, it sounds strange for me to even say that, but Mickey Loomis doesn't do evaluations on his team during the actual football year. He doesn't do them. The reason he said he doesn't do in-season evaluations is because, and I quote, he's too emotional to do them. When we win, I'm emotional. When we lose, I'm emotional. So I just don't do them. That's what he said, end quote. That's what he says. He doesn't do in-season evaluations on his team, which explains everything. So how is that accountable when you don't even do your job? That's why I was advocating for Mickey Loomis to just be a VP. Just go away and go be a vice president somewhere. Just go be a vice president. Let another guy do the general manager position. Let him do it, because a general manager will do in-season and out-season evaluations on his goddamn team. He'll do it. And it's just a part of the game. Then when it kicks into, it goes into what calls are made, and we were one game away. You wasn't one game away. You wasn't one game. And then see, we win one more game, we're gonna get it. The Saints had several opportunities to win games. The Ram game in particular was a game the Saints could have went over there and won, and they didn't. Why? Because Carr stunk. The Saints offensive line stunk. They didn't play well. They didn't have a good play. They have a good plan for anything. There's never any accountability. Dennis Allen is not a very good head coach. He's not. And Mickey Loomis sitting on his ass, he pretending like he is. Well, Bill Belichick started off rough. Bill Walsh, he started off. Everybody. George Seifert. Everybody. Red Auerbach. He started off. Phil Jackson. He started off his first year rough. And Dennis Allen's right there with him. He's going to be a star. No, man, he's not going to be a star. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the things that you need a good head coach to have. The man is not it. He's not it. And this guy refuses to see it. And that's why we're struggling, because you got to have a competent leader at the top, not one that backstabs his team and throws them under the bus and apologizes to your rival. This dude is not it, man. And this guy don't see it. That's why I lost a lot of confidence in this guy, because he can't see that. And what he's doing is ego driven. That's another reason why I lost a lot of respect for him, because your ego and your emotion don't have a goddamn thing to do with building this team better. When you recognize that guy and looking around and say, well, we need to find somebody that's a lot more accountable, a guy that's more disciplinarian, more guy that's more loyal to the team, who believes in those type of concepts, who won't backstab, won't be a weasel, all this kind of old stuff. That's what you need to be looking for. This is emotionally driven, because people like you and myself who are calling him out onto the mat, he don't like that. So they react by being ego driven. I know what I'm doing. Hell, I want a Super Bowl. How many of you guys in this goddamn chat? Now raise your goddamn hands up if you want a Super Bowl. Huh? I mean, I got one. Huh? How many of you guys up in here got a Super Bowl ring? Huh? You're not qualified. You're not qualified to talk about my guys. Remember he said that? You're not qualified. They're not qualified. You're not qualified. You're not qualified. Oh, it's negative noise. You guys are just negative noise. And then it's all negative noise. He was telling people they were negative noise last year, and his goddamn team sitting out of the playoffs for 3 straight years. Are we still negative? It was all facts and truth to be talking, and he threw it all out the door and then made excuses for a team that consistently fails. Are you really looking for answers? They're not operating in the right energy is what I'm saying. They're not operating in the right perspective. You're operating on the wrong energy, which is emotion. Thinking, I did this. I found Sean Payton. I picked Payton. Dennis Allen. And then you really didn't pick Dennis Allen. Sean Payton told you to hire him. That's the cold-blooded part about this, man. We know all of this. You didn't pick no Dennis Allen. Sean Payton told you to hire him. Well, me and Sean play golf together. I love him. And I worked together for many years, won a Super Bowl. And he told me to hire Dennis. I hired Dennis, and everything's been all right. No, it's not have been all right. No, it's not. It's not, bro. Cut it out. It's not good. It's not good. One win away from the playoffs. Please. The Saints had opportunities and gave it up. Remember they had that losing streak? But they were supposed to win those games, and they just do what you're supposed to do, and you win the games. And the Saints would just lay down, and then when everything was finally out of the way, they started playing good because they didn't handle pressure well as a team overall. Dennis Allen sitting up there, coming to the podium in the press conference with that possum face, sitting up there looking at the ground, and people like Q turn this stuff off with, because it's the same stuff. The man is not it. No disrespect to the man, but the man is over his head. He's over his head, man. He's over his head with a lot of this stuff. He's not qualified in that regard to do this stuff. He's not. He doesn't have it. And then the crazy, but you know what? He needs guidance. And Mickey Loomis is the wrong type of dude to be there, because Mickey Loomis is not going to be over his shoulder saying, you're making the right decision, right? Oh, do you need this? Do you need that? You might want to take a look at this. You might. No, he goes and closes his door. Even reporters said he don't even talk to the players during the year, but he going to sit up on his ass and go and talk to him at the end of the year. Well, all you guys in here, let me tell you something. Oh, you damn guys. Oh, I'm making it uncomfortable for your asses. I'm telling you. See, you're sitting on a bed of lettuce right now. Y'all have all those, you got magic pillows. I'm telling you something. All you goddamn guys, and you're making it uncomfortable for you, and it's some bitch. I'm gonna make it uncomfortable. And you know what? He pointing at them, and it's really him. He the one. He the one that he's the one that doesn't need to be comfortable. He's the one that needs to give up the general manager job and just be a VP. Let a younger guy do the job and stop being selfish with the position, bro. You don't have it anymore. Anyway, let's go back to this, man.
How do you do that? And I'm being serious, because you know what a winner looks like, right? You know, you've been around winning teams forever in your NFL career. You've won a Super Bowl. You and Sean, took the Saints to a different level and became an annual winner and a team that's in that Super Bowl conversation year in, year out. How do you reset that? Because I love the way you frame that. Where does that start? Is it the quarterback coaching, getting rid of certain guys, adding different guys? How do you do that? Because I'm with you. I think the sky's the limit here in terms of the New Orleans Saints for this season.
Well, first of all, it starts with me, number one. And look, without getting into specifics, because there are specifics, what we talked about. First of all, I think what you have to do is talk about it. You have to be upfront, and you have to be honest with yourself about what's necessary. If you ask anyone in professional sports if they want to win, of course, everyone says, yes, we want to win. Everyone says, if you ask them, will you do what it takes to win, whatever it takes, everybody will say yes. But then you have to do that, and it all comes down to details, all the little things. Did you do all the extra work that you needed to do? Were you in the playbook extra time? Did you spend the extra time as a coach necessary to design a play for a particular game? Did me and our personnel department, did we spend the extra time necessary to evaluate players for the draft, the free agency? It's all those little extra things that are what I would say off the clock that make the difference in a league where the difference between the best and the worst records in our league are just really small margins. And so it's the devil in the details, really, and the devil in all the extra little things that are required that make a difference. And look, I'm not talking about specifics. I know what some of those specifics are for us, and we've talked about them. We've talked about them with our team. And I'm really encouraged at the beginning of this offseason program with the commitment and the enthusiasm that I see from our players and coaches.
Did Mickey Loomis really just say evaluations and all of this stuff? Boy, oh boy. This coming from a guy that doesn't do in-season evaluations by his own account. Don't sit up there and say all that. Did you do enough evaluations? Oh, hold on now. You got to make sure you do all of the evaluations. We got to make every play. And all. Did you study enough for the offense? That you do it? Did you do enough? And this guy, really? No, you did not. No, you didn't. Man, these people just outright just be deceived. You're talking about, well, the devil's in the details. No, the devil be lying. He lying his ass off talking right now. Man, listen, man, you can't tell no diehard that pay attention to this team inside and out, that watch every play, that listen to every interview. You can't spit nonsense and jargon like this at them like they supposed to. Like, yeah, Mickey had a great response there. No, because are they really doing that? And the question is, he didn't do that. That's not his philosophy. Mickey Loomis told us he doesn't do in-season evaluations by his own account, but he tells you it starts with him. So if it starts with Mickey and he's not doing his job, then it filters down. That wouldn't it be logical that the majority of them not doing their job either? He doesn't keep anybody accountable because there is his boss that sits above him. Dennis Lucia doesn't go and evaluate Mickey Loomis. Doesn't evaluate him. He doesn't evaluate him. The guy doesn't know anything about football, man, is what I'm saying. You defer all football-related questions to Mickey Loomis. Gail Benson is not evaluating Dennis Lucia. She's not. She's looking at the balance book. And Gail gets $1 billion richer according to Forbes every year. She went from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 or whatever it is now. They're not evaluating each other. They're not. His superior is supposed to be evaluating him. He's supposed to be evaluating Dennis Allen. He's not evaluating anything. All they're doing is running interference for each other. That's all they do. So if Dennis Allen goes and do something off code, Mickey Loomis protects us. That's what it does. So the whole thing, the only thing that's changed right here, let's just get this straight, fam. The only thing that changed here is Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak coming in here. And then he brings in his guys that he's familiar with. The key to everything is Clint Kubiak, because I have no faith in Dennis Allen. I've lost a lot of faith and respect in Mickey Loomis, because he's sitting up here just speaking a bunch of garbage. He don't need to be the general manager anymore, man. The game that obviously passed him by. Anybody that sits up here on their ass and tells you they don't do in-season evaluations, when I know that's a part of the job for a general manager to do, how are you not going to evaluate your team during the season when they need it the most? Not off season, but in season when the games are popping. If he was more involved during the season, we could have had maybe a game change, because he could have put pressure on Dennis Allen to make a change. Remember that? See, this is the things they forget when we start talking about, and we just were one game. Listen, I don't care what you say. We were one goddamn game away from the playoffs. One game that you know why they didn't win that one game? Because they refused to change. Remember all of the weeks that we were sitting up here and we were going over why Dennis Allen needs to change up the offensive line, why Dennis Allen needs to demote Pete Carmichael, why Dennis Allen needs to switch this up, and why Dennis Allen needs to switch that up. And Dennis Allen promised us change on three different occasions and didn't do a damn thing when the Saints had the losing streaks going and it was losing the games. Remember that? And we were putting pressure on them. You need to make a change. They come out of the bye week and lose the game before the bye week, the Minnesota game. Out of the bye week, the Atlanta game, lose that game. Oh, we're going to make a change. And then the change was never made. Remember all that? And then that's the point where it goes to where you don't win the game. You don't make any changes. And that's the problem I have with Dennis Allen, because he don't know what he's looking at. You're supposed to make changes and put pressure on the guys on the offensive side. He didn't change out Pete Carmichael. We kept saying, man, listen, you need to change Pete Carmichael out and make Ronald Curry, let him call the plays and see if the offense changed. If he would have done that little change, it might have been a jolt that the Saints needed to get a win. You see, they don't mention none of that. That's up to you to remember. They lie by omission, and they spin narratives that I care not to even much accept. I'm not going to just bat that shit down, man. I bat it down. I'm a tumble it, because it don't make any sense. Dennis Allen all year last year had opportunities to change out or at least change the play caller for the offense and move Pete Carmichael out, put Ronald Curry in, let him call the plays for the game. Some bitch kept it the same the whole year. The whole year. They're going to sit here and talk about we go one win away from the playoffs. We 1 win away. No. Your coach stopped you from getting a win because he refused to change what wasn't working. He kept it the same despite the fact he said on 3 different occasions he was going to make changes, and he never made them. Kept doing the same thing. See, but that's what am I wrong to call that out? It's because I have a memory and I don't buy into BS and nonsense and propaganda just so you can go back and buy the tickets. Man, we don't play that here at the Sports Coma, man. We real deal Holyfield. The Great Saint Think Tank is called the Great Saint Think Tank for a reason, because they got brains. They're not susceptible to the jargon. They're not susceptible to the BS and the nonsense and the lies, the default to injuries. Well, why did y'all fail, Mickey Loomis? Well, you see, we had injuries. Michael Thomas got hurt. Well, didn't Michael Thomas? He was really consistently hurt, Mickey. He was hurt for like several years in a row. Yeah, but we were really counting on him this particular year. Or did you have any wide receivers behind him that could kind of step? Well, we did, but injuries, it wasn't bad. And then we didn't get the calls that we wanted. What? The calls and injuries? So it had nothing to do with Dennis Allen, right? Nothing. He said nothing about Dennis Allen being the main reason, which is why you failed, because of Dennis Allen at the helm. None of that. That's what I'm saying. The man asked him a real question, and Mickey came up with some real BS. That's what he does. That's what
I love that. That really told me and the audience a lot, and that is great stuff. Mickey, great job in the draft as always. You guys absolutely cleaned up. I love what you were able to accomplish. Keep up the great work, my friend. Always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Bullshitting.
Thank you, Adam. And listen, I'm going to be mad if you don't come down here this offseason.
Come on down here and get you something to eat. I got some clam chowder for you. It's good. I put some Zatarans in it. I'll mix it. Get some clam chowder and mix some Zatarans in it. And I got some orange juice. Sunny D. With some ice in it. Gotcha. I got you.
Man, the bottom line is this, man. At the end of the day, it's just, that's why I said, like, what do you like about the Saints? The fact that Clint Kubiak is over the offense. Clint Kubiak, and it's a lie, so much pressure on Clint Kubiak, family. It's almost unfair for it to be that much pressure on Clint Kubiak. For real. It's almost unfair because he got a lot of work to do. It's not like they're giving them like a line with veterans where all he have to do is teach the veterans, and then he got young guys that have to, and that could work for him. You got young offensive linemen. One guy lost his confidence. Another dude that just got drafted, he's talented, high prospect. One dude probably not going to play again. His knee so bad, and it's career threatening. You get an offensive lineman from Minnesota that you familiar with on the cheap, and then you got a bunch of young players who really hadn't done anything. You got an established guy, McCoy, and Cesar Ruiz, who's coming off of your last year wasn't all that for Cesar, so he have to kind of regroup. So you got all this going on, and then you do have the players, and it was like, why did you come here? Because of the players. He did say that. They asked him that. The reporter from, I forgot the lady name, from New Orleans asked Clint Kubiak, why did he come here? He said, because of the players. So he comes here you got Elvin, he got all these other guys, and he has to get them involved. But before Elvin can get going, before Elvin can even get the ball, you got to have a line to protect and block for him, and that's going to be interesting. And then have to install that system and be able to get them guys off code. And remember, you also have to install the discipline aspect, because remember, the Saints was one of these teams that had a ton of pre-snap penalties because they weren't disciplined. Remember Elvin Kamara said during the year that the Saints was false starting in practice and nobody was saying anything. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. So what Kubiak has coming here, he has to change all of this. He has to change the mentality of what was going on before, wash it all away, and install a successful system. Is he capable of doing that? I think he is. He the key to all of this, because I think Dennis Allen will do just enough on the defensive side. Well, actually, the staff, I like the defensive staff over there, and he'll do just enough. Special teams will be all right. But the offense, my goodness, the offense has to really rise up. And I do actually like Clint Kubiak. And I really do hope that he established that running attack and get that offensive line together, because without that, it's not going to be pretty, because we're going to need that, man. We're going to need that, and we're going to need it early. We're going to need it early, because we don't want to see a repeat of having Derek Carr as option one and see him looking around trying to make throws. No, we don't need Derek Carr out there trying to find somebody to throw to. We need a running attack and then play action call, which makes life easier because the safety ain't gonna be out there. You gotta have one safety roaming right there. The other guy gonna try to help out, stop the run because you got to run the ball well. You take him down. He hanging around the line. You got one-on-ones out there. So I mean that makes it easy, but not cars standing looking to the left while guys are running free to the right, or looking to the right while guys. No, please, none of that. We don't need none of that. We need to run the ball. So anyway, that's the Mickey Loomis interview, fam. Dude, Mickey Loomis sit up here talking about all that, man. Dude, it starts with him. You got to make evaluating, and oh man, because we sit and things, fam. We sit, and this is not just last year's years. We sit up here and listen to these people, and these people know they're not doing what they say they're doing. What they be saying up there, we know they're not doing that because it don't show. It don't show any result on the field. If you're doing all that you said that you're doing, the result is not the same. We know you're not doing all those evaluations. We know it. We know you're not doing all that. We know that you keep your door closed. You don't engage with the players. You know, we know that. We know you're not a guy that's hands-on with the team. You let the dude sink the ship and then come out and make excuses for him. See, the reason why he ran into the bridge is because the harbor man. Where the hell was the harbor master? That's a whole other thing. But I mean, the reality is, man, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Mickey Loomis with this interview, with him selling this kind of stuff, and we know what time it is with Mickey Loomis. I just hope that Clint Kubiak finds the right players for his system and then he implements it, bro, because that's what it really comes down to. It's all on Kubiak. It's all on him. It's really all on him. Really it is, fam. And I don't understand why we ain't throw more financial resources toward Kubiak's offense. Really, I'm serious. Really. I mean, if you think about it, that money that we could be giving to Chase, wouldn't that be betterly utilized in the offensive lineman, a veteran offensive lineman for Kubiak's offense? You know, yeah, some of that paper that's going to that side, could it be going to a more established wide receiver, perhaps to flank next to Chris Olave? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Maybe you can find I mean, I'm just saying, man, we're going to put this guy over here on defense, this guy here on defense, this other guy on defense. We look at solid on defense, but the offense is what you're going to need to win. And we're just going to settle for a bunch of underpaid offensive lineman from Minnesota, a wide receiver who I wouldn't have guessed in some time that we would actually pick up and consider as a starter, when I think there were more viable options out there with bigger resumes that would have fit. I'm just saying. And then really one offensive line veteran that you picked up could be a James Hurst type dude that can rotate from two different positions. And then I don't get it. But we'll see, man. We're going to see, man. We'll see how it all goes. But anyway, shout out to you, fam. I'm about to get ready to get on up out of here. Let me read a few comments from you guys before I split. 130 plus of us in there. Please feel free to hit the like button, family. If you're on Twitter, give me X, give me a retweet. Instagram, Facebook, shout out to you guys as well. All right, Tuck says we got to get you on some helium to do that voice cue. Well, hold on now. Hold on. I don't want to do that. That's some bullshit. Yeah. I only want to do it. Yeah, there you go, Kev. Kev said, I'm not qualified. Yeah, that's what Mickey said, man. None of you guys are qualified. You're not qualified to talk about it. Aces, I think he meant that's the plan going forward. Okay, Brother Hakeem said the NFL is pressuring the Saints to get a brand new stadium in the next 8 years. How about that? You're going to have to put up some money like the Clippers owner did to get that going. You think she'll do that, Brother Hakeem? You think she'll do that, bro? Because guess what, bro? The NFL and the NBA is doing the same thing. They want the city of New Orleans to get a new arena too. And that there's an area right next to the convention center. I don't know if you're from down here, but well, yeah, Brother Hakeem got to be from down here with Baptiste last name. Yeah, that brother's black and gold, man, from New Orleans. But if you're familiar with the convention center area, there's a big piece of land like toward the, I ain't gonna say to the right, like if you're going to the West Bank, you're looking at the convention center from the East Bank, looking toward the West Bank. there's a big piece of land that's sitting there, right? It's not too far from, I think War Lumber is a little further over, but it's a big empty piece of land. That land right there, they want that piece of land to be the new NBA arena. They want that to be the arena. They want a riverfront arena that connects to the convention center. They want it to be on right on the water on the Mississippi River on the East Bank side. So yeah, they saying that they can't improve the stadium anymore. But see, they don't want to use their own money to build these stadiums. They want to use your money, and that's that. Herein lies the problem, baby. Herein lies the problem, baby. See, they gonna look. They want the basketball arena, and it don't cost half a billion dollars to build no arena no more. It costs $1 billion now to build an NBA style arena with all of the gadgets in it, and they don't want to spend their own money to do it. It's better for them to use taxpayers' money to build these stadiums for private usage, because we don't get any money from the Saints organization for supporting the Saints. They'll tell you it's your team, but you don't get any free tickets, you don't get any free parking, you don't get any free concessions, and you pay for the building, you pay for the lights, you pay for the water, all that's taxpayer funded. They pay very little, if anything, on that. They take all the money. That's why Gil's the richest person in the state of Louisiana. It ain't about saying, it's economics. If I don't pay as much taxes as you and I get to get more perks than what you would get, and I get to keep the majority of the money I make because I talk about without it, I won't be viable. Man, it's all economics of the game, baby. I often talk about this stuff here on the Coma because it's more the sports than me. T. Will says Eric Bieniemy should have been a coach. Dennis Allen moved to offensive coordinator just to see what he can do on offense. Joe Woods as a defensive coach. I wouldn't move Dennis Allen to an offensive coordinator. I think the Dennis Allen's main thing is he's a good defensive coordinator, but that's all. He's really a defensive coordinator masquerading as a head coach because he wants nothing to do with the offense. And I understand that, but you still have to be over their shoulder. You still have to make these guys feel the pressure that you're there. That's how Sean Payton used to do it when he had Dennis Allen and these other people in. He'll let them run that side of the ball, but he'll go and bitch at them too. During the game, he wouldn't sit up there and let you make it. You can't do that, man. Because you the head coach, you picked the guy. I can't blame Pete Carmichael for having a shitty offense, and Dennis Allen's the coach. He picked the guy. It's up to Dennis. Dennis Allen gets all of the bows and arrows because that's the guy he picked. He can easily go over there and say, you know what, Pete? And this happened last year. Pete, could you go try something to do? We're gonna put Ronald Curry over the offense, let him call plays just to change things up. Pete Carmichael couldn't say nothing wrong because his offense was stinking. But he didn't do that. He let the whole season go by, letting the same thing happen, and then says at the end of the season, I'm pissed. That's what he started the press conference off. I'm pissed. Oh, you pissed. You son of a bitch. You ain't do nothing. You ain't change anything. And you got the nerve to say you pissed about something? That's what I'm saying, man. They operate like you don't have a memory, and that's really insulting. Derek says Q sound like dope. Oh, hold on now. Hold on now. Don't tell me that. That's terrible. I don't know what time it is. All right, Derek says no Q, more room in the East Q. They need. Okay. Yeah, well, they're not looking in New Orleans East. They're not looking in New Orleans East. They're looking on the East Bank. It's a plot of land next to the convention center. It's a big old open area right there. And they've been looking at that portion of the land for a long time. They want to put that stadium because they wanted to be connected to the business district, the CBD, because there's a whole little renovation going on down there. It's the urban renewal projects that they got going on down there, and they want the stadium there. And they're just telling, if they get it built there, they'll just tell on the arena that's next to the dome, and that'll become more parking space. So that's what they got planned, man. That's the word on the street anyway. So I don't know. Farouk says, what's happening, bro? Good to see you, Farouk. Shout out to your brother. Appreciate you being in the stream. All big ups to you. Yeah, it's one of those things, but that's what I'm saying about it. It's almost unfair for Clint Kubiak. You bring him here, and he's tasked to turn everything around. And the offensive line is the weakest. Is it the weakest? We could say it's the weakest. Maybe wide receiver outside of our top two guys. Cedric Wilson's okay, but the line is problematic. Like, we really need to figure that thing out. So we need to figure out who the left tackle is going to be, the right tackle is going to be. Let's just leave Ramczyk out of the equation, because whoever getting the reps, whoever these guys are going to get the reps, just let them get in there and get it going early. I know they're supposed to be doing this camp, this rookie mini camp thing in about 6 days. May 10th, for a couple of days, they'll have people down there, and they'll have some invitees to come down there and try out stuff like that. Because they really need to kind of, get the line together. That's a big part. And then we'll start seeing who goes where. Now, that's a lot of unofficial depth charts that's out there. Let me see if I can pull one up that has some of the Saints players listed in it. Like I said, it's unofficial. Like this one right here that shows Fuaga at the left tackle position and Ram on the other side. But then again, it has Fuaga ahead of Penning. Like Penning's backing him up, and Ram is good, and there's Landon Young on the other side. I don't see that happening. The Saint, you have to justify the first round pick. Like if you got Fuaga and you got Penning, you got to try them guys. You got to justify the pick. Now, Ali Udo, who they picked up from Minnesota, I think he'll play guard for him. So my looking at the offensive line, what I think it'll look like, and I could be slightly off or could be wrong, but I'm going to say both the ends are going to be that both tackles are it's going to be Fuaga and Penning. Ali Udo will operate at the left guard, and then you have McCoy and Cesar Ruiz on the other side. So that's how I think it looks like. We'll see, man, based on what the Saints add. But a lot of unofficial depth charts have a similar thing going on. At the end of the day, I'm just kind of focused on the offensive line to see what could be done there, because we need to figure that out first, and so we could be able to run the ball. But what I really like about Fuaga and Penning pairing is the fact that those big ends, they're big guys that can really move, despite the fact that Penning had confidence issues and he didn't look good at the left tackle position. I didn't feel like that was the right position for him to play. I think we could try Fuaga there, but then again, maybe they keep, if Ram can't go and Penning's on the other side, maybe Benton can make it work, because John Benton's the offensive line coach. He's a big part of making this go. So could he reestablish and get Penning's confidence back, like what Marone did for Cesar Ruiz? Like he taught Cesar Ruiz to be a respectable guard. Could John do that for Trevor Penning? We hope so, because Penning has the athleticism, he has the strength. We just need to get him right. Can Benton do that? So that's a big part. So big questions on the offense, man, style wise and all that kind of stuff. So we'll start. When is it? The 10th. We'll get a good look at these guys and see what they got going on, man. It's going to be fun seeing where they all fit. So, but that's my call. That's how I think it is. I think it'll be Fuaga and Penning on at the tackles. Ali Udo at the left guard. Center is McCoy, and Ruiz is the right guard. Derek says East Bank side by Convention Center Q. There's no room by the river. East Bank side by that's what I said. East Bank side. Yeah, that's what I said, right? The East Bank side. Yeah. East Bank side is it's on the other side of the Crescent City connections, going away from the city. If you go down there, like if you drive along where the convention center is and you go all the way to the other end of the convention center, that's this big open green area. That's what I'm talking about there. Now, Tom Benson did say, rest his soul, some years ago, that he wanted the Superdome, or not the Superdome, but a new arena to be built on the old War Lumber site, which is, I think, War Lumber is where in War Lumber on the West Bank side. Is that West Bank side? I don't think about War Lumber. I won't say they're on the West Bank side. Wherever the War Lumber is, the old War Lumber plant. He wanted to demolish that, and they wanted to build an open air arena. And they even had plans. You can Google plans. They had plans up of that stadium. They were actually wanting an open air. And I was like, man, these people are crazy, man. Who's going to sit up there and as high as it be? It was an open air football stadium that the Saints that Tom Benson wanted to do. Let me see if I could pull it up here. They had the plans up. They had it online too. They did articles on it and all that stuff. They had old plans of it and all kind of stuff. I don't know. You probably can Google it and find it. But yeah, Tom Benson wanted that's what he wanted to have. He wanted to have an open air stadium on the old War Lumber site. And I was like, man, you done lost it, man. Boy, the only reason why people go to the game because you're in that condition. Boy, you don't want to go there, man, in no open air stadium. Talking about watching no game the Saints play. Open air, dude, during a hot time, man. Boy, you tripping. Ain't nobody doing that. We ain't doing that. All right. So anyway, family, listen, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Listen, I appreciate you guys for stopping by on the reaction stream as we kind of went over that stuff. Listen, we'll pop up again on Monday. We'll talk some more Saints and go from there, man. Tonight's got a lot of good stuff going on. Some NBA action there. We know the semifinal round between, the Western Conference semis, which is Minnesota and Denver. That should be popping up here real soon. That's going to be a real good one. I anticipate either one of those guys will represent the Western Conference in the finals between the Nuggets and the Wolves. That's going to be an excellent series. And tonight, I think Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia is fighting later on tonight, man. They got a wonderful undercard. So this is going to be a good night of sports for the family members to check out, man. I think Canelo, man, just to do it, we do Ring Kings boxing. That's going to be interesting to see that pop and shake too. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Canelo should, and that's a good fight. But I think Canelo was probably going to knock out Jaime, beat him up severely. But then Jaime is no punk, man. I like Jaime. I've been watching him fight for a long time, man. And, he got a lot of padded stats, man. They kind of did the Mike Tyson thing with him, man, when he fought a bunch of people and got his record way up in the air, man. He got like 40 wins or something, like 35 wins and 35-0 or something like that. But the last several fights, he fought some pretty decent fighters. John Ryder was on the back of his career, but he was able to get to Canelo. That's the money pot, getting Canelo. And he got a fight with Canelo. I don't think he's going to beat Canelo. I think probably Canelo going to beat him up pretty good because he pissed off with Oscar De La Hoya. Almost got it with Oscar De La Hoya. He's going to take it out on this fighter. But anyway, let me get out of here, man, before I go into it. Listen, appreciate y'all for stopping by, man. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one, man. Y'all have a good rest of y'all weekend, man. Much love to the fam. Be safe out there. And who that to you?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember,